to the girl in the garden. This is Tina, and we're in the kitchen. It is cold and rainy. I am not in the garden. In fact, some of my seedlings I brought in and I put them back in my little makeshift grow room, which is my washroom. Got a heater on in there and some little grow lights because they're not going to do anything outside except die. So, but we're gonna get out to the garden soon, hopefully. Today, what I'm showing you is soup bones. I bought a half a cow for the first time. Gosh, I think it's almost been a year and we still have a whole lot of meat left. We got hamburgers, we got steaks, we got soup bones, we got prime rib, or is it called rib roast? And when I broke down the price, it was like I basically paid $5.99 for every pound of beef that I got. And you know, some of those cuts, like a filet mignon or mignon, however you say it, or the prime rib, they're much more than $5.99 a pound. So we're still eating good on beef, but I need to get some beef bones used up, soup bones used up. Sorry, between the rain and then the sun, my allergies are crazy, and whew. All right, back to our soup bones. We've got a friend who is on chemotherapy, and so I told her I would make some bone broth for her. So that's what I'm going to do. And I don't know if I've done this process on the camera before. I just started recording. So if it's a repeat, I'm sorry. There's tons of different ways to do this, and I probably do it differently every single time. So to start with, I've got my oven preheating, and I'm going to broil this just to kind of sear it on both sides before I actually put it in the crock pot. So that's my first step. Let me get to that and let this sizzle on each side a little bit, and then we'll move on to the crock pot. Okay, so our meat, I just pulled it out. I'm going to put it in the crock pot on low. It's probably going to cook for 24 hours. I'm going to use about a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. If I don't have enough, I'll finish it off with red wine vinegar or regular vinegar. Or if you have wine, you can use wine. That Ziploc bag is all the onion scraps I saved that I'm going to throw a bunch in there. I'm going to throw some celery in there. I usually do carrots as well, but I don't have any carrots. So I'm going to put some peppercorns in there. And the water is spring water that I'm going to use. So let me get this all together. In goes our meat. I'm going to have to do this twice because all of the meat won't fit. If it does, nothing else will fit. All right, now time for the other ingredients. All right, here we are, all full. So the onions that you see, when I use onions and peel them and cut them off, as long as, if you got something that's getting moldy, don't do that, throw it out. But anyway, I keep them so I can flavor my broths with them. And I just put them in a Ziploc and put them in the freezer. So my bag is quite full. So I had the soup bones to use. And actually, like I said, I still got 2 more soup bones to put in. So I'll get them in the fridge. And once this is done, I'll make another batch. All right, we'll check on this throughout the next 24 hours to see how it's doing. All right, I'll see you soon. All right, this is what our broth looks like after 24 hours. You can see the meat has pretty much come off the bone. I'm going to cook it the rest of all day today while I'm working. And then I'll start straining it this afternoon when I get off. But I want those bones to really cook and release that good stuff called collagen. That's what makes homemade bone broth very nutritious. All right, see you soon. Whew, all righty. Our bone broth is ready. And so now I'm going to start separating the broth from the bones and the onion and celery. And then there's going to be some meat in there that I will also take out. So let me get to it. All right, our first strain is done. Now I will take a wire strainer that has even smaller holes and get more of the tidbits out of that. All right, so this right here is bones, meat, and the vegetables I had thrown in, which you can see there's still steam coming off of. When it cools a little bit, then I'll go through and pick out all the meat because I'm not going to waste it. All right, I'll be back. All right, so those are the little tidbits I'm talking about. There's not a lot in there, obviously, but there is some. So I will get this rinsed out, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to strain it through a cheesecloth. And right now I'm like, oh, I hope I have a cheesecloth left. I didn't think about that. So anyway, all right, let me get back to it. All right, so you can see that even after doing it through the strainer, doing it through the cheesecloth, there's still a lot of tidbits in there. So I'm going to rinse out my cheesecloth and give this one more straining. All right, I'll be back because I can't do it with only one hand. All right, as you can see, there's a lot less goop in the bottom of my cheesecloth. That liquid that's down there is the fat that has rendered out that I'm going to get rid of. There's still some in the broth. I probably need to check to see if she wants a little bit of it left in or if she wants it all out. So now it's time for me to pour into ice trays and get these frozen. I'll see you soon. Hi, I'm back. Here's our bone broth. I got this silicone muffin thing, and you can see I've been using it, freezing these bone broth muffins. I don't know, about 4 tablespoons fits in each muffin cup. My ice trays, only 2 tablespoons fit in. I have not been able to get back to videoing this, so I have been using it. I do have some already frozen, so I can get through this all. And basically, I have this in, I think this is a grease separator, so the spout is at the bottom, so supposedly you get less oil or grease or rendering of fat in whatever it is that you're putting in here and using this to pour with. And so that's what I do, is I just fill them up and go put it in my freezer. And yeah, you do want to put this on a cookie sheet or something sturdy, because this will, it's just flimsy, right? It's just going to go out all over. So I'll show you our finished frozen bone broth muffins, I guess, huh? All right, we'll be back shortly. All right, our bone broth ice cubes, muffins, whatever we want to call them, hockey pucks. They are frozen. Time for me to get them bagged up. It's really simple to get them out of the silicone. They just come right out, and dump them onto my pan, and then put them in a Ziploc bag and label it. So let me get to it. All right, this bag is pretty full, so I just went ahead and got a new bag and dropped them in there. So that's it. That is bone broth. Beef bone broth. So anyway, I hope you'll give it a try. It's healthier than what you buy at the store. You can cook it until you get all that good bone marrow broken down, and make some really healthy bone broth to use in whatever recipe you want to use it in. Oh, all right, well, this is Tina, the girl in the garden. Thanks for spending time with me. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. Do you make beef bone broth or any kind of bone broth? And if you do, how do you do it? What do you do differently? Drop that in the comment below, and I'll see you next time. Here, the girl in the garden. Bye for now.